Okay, I want to start with Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Just a few days ago. I understand that's an important stage for you. That stage in the United States brought you into a lot of people's lives. How did it feel when you were done that second song when we were young?
When I finished?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, pure relief, because that show is so live. But it felt great. I nailed it to the best of my ability because my nerves are uncontrollable with live television. It's like different to when I'm performing live for my own crowd, because like I get nervous in front of my own fans, let alone like TV when you don't even know who's watching.
Yeah.
But I felt really great, and right at the end of the last chorus, my best friend flew over from London for like my show and stuff like that, and I spotted her like as the light went around. I spotted her, and I was like, so I felt great after when we were young, and I was just relieved it was done, and I was so relieved that everyone enjoyed it, and everyone at SNL were really chuffed, and I just wanted them to be happy.
You gave a really genuine "I love you" at the end of that song.
Yeah, my best friend.
That to your best friend.
Yeah, Laura.
That's beautiful. So now 25 is out. It's already making history. How does it feel to be embarking on this ride again, this wild ride?
It feels good. I'm less frightened this time, I think, because I experienced a bit of, the success, not a bit, I think the success I experienced with 21, I was a bit unprepared for, so I felt like I wasn't quite like equipped at the time to handle it that well, but I feel like I am this time.
It feels a bit different.
Yeah, and I feel a lot more grounded. I mean, I've never got carried away with myself, but being a mum, I have a very real life going on with my kid. Do you know what I mean? He's like in charge, so I feel really cool about it all. Actually, I'm pretty overwhelmed, and it's weird being in America because last time when I released 21, it was a staggered release, so like my album came out in England first and stuff like that. So being here for it all is quite weird because I feel totally like in my own bubble here. Out of my own bubble, because at home I'm normally like just plodding along. So being here and it's just mad. Yeah,
because that's a total big shift in what your life has been like the last couple of years.
Yeah.
To right now.
Yeah.
How are you holding up with the...
Because I made a very conscious decision. I put my foot down that I didn't want a very long lead up. So it's only been like a 6-7 week lead up from when I did my advert for Hello to like right now sitting here. So I haven't actually had time to think about it that much. Whereas I think if I'd had one of those long 6-month build ups, I'd be bored. I'd be bored already and everyone else would be bored.
Did you know that? That's why you said short lead up for this album?
I find it really difficult to engage with an artist for that long when I've heard the whole record before it's out. It's like, I love you, but I'm over it. Like, next one. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and it fascinates me because I'm quite like Jurassic in terms of like, I'm not that up to speed on social media, and it's been a complete revelation with like this campaign, with how social media is now. It's like mind-boggling, and I think it's truly phenomenal and like astonishing with how much power the people have on Twitter. It's like, and Instagram, and I heard about Snapchat for the first time this morning. I'm literally that out the loop. I'm like buzzing on tea, by the way. I've had so much caffeine in my tea.
That's good.
But tell me to slow down if you want me to.
No.
But I just find it fascinating that everyone wants everything now, and yet they're doing like a 6-month campaign. It's like, that's cool.
That is really interesting. Now, since the time you've been away, all that social media stuff has just taken over.
Yeah. Well, it didn't even exist when I released 21. I'm like 50.
Crazy?
I'm not even 22. I'm like 50.
Hello, first single.
Yes.
You chose to go with that instead of Send My Love.
Yeah.
Why did you want Hello to be the first thing people hear?
I think having been out of the game for so long, I felt like Hello was the perfect word to come back with. In conversation, let alone in a song, and because of how conversational the song is. And I feel like it represents my album much better than Send My Love to Your New Lover. I love Send My Love to Your Lover, and it's one of my favourites, but the rest of the album is more along the lines of Hello than Send My Love. So I didn't want to mislead people, thinking I was coming back with this like hey record, because it's not a hey record at all.
I want to talk about the process of making this album, but I want to go back, start at the end of all the promotion and work around 21.
Okay.
That was a juggernaut.
It was.
Of a record. How were you feeling at the end of all that work? You worked so hard.
I did work really hard on it. It kept getting interrupted with my vocal issues. And I had to have a lot of rest for my voice to recover, and then I would just get better, and then I'd have to go back and do something else. And I was never ever forced to do it. I just, because you felt better, you felt like you could do it, but really you should get better and rest some more, rather than getting better and then being thrown straight back into anything. But I didn't want to let anyone down, so I did, and then it just escalated. But it was quite astonishing, and I've said it already before, but like I was a bit frightened by it all. It felt like I was very much watching it from the outside. And that's not because I had to do so much rest, but just, you know, I'm not hugely comfortable being famous and being as successful as I have been and stuff like that. I just feel a bit, I'm just a bit like, what? Like, so, you know, I felt...
Especially that kind of runaway success, right, of that album.
Yeah, and also, like, now I love it, but it was like there was this moment where I had to hand the album over and almost disown it and be like, this is everyone else's album now. And, you know, it was my child. It was like, oh, and then I let it go, and then it felt fine, and that was cool.
You became a star, you became a parent, you worked...
For good measure, to see if I would crack under the pressure.
And then on top of that, you planned and you made a record with the whole world waiting for it. That's a lot of life. It strikes me as a lot of life in a short span of time. What was that like for you? It
was overwhelming, but I feel like I managed to get my balance with it all. In terms of people waiting, it's like I didn't share anything in order for people to not be guessing what I was doing. So I was making a record about people knowing. Everyone was just assuming, which is more fun to watch from my angle, being like, you lot ain't got a fucking clue what I'm doing, so keep writing everything you want to write, you know. And then it's that big reveal, and I do believe that music is an event. So I wanted this to be an event. Like every album that I look to buy on a Friday, it's an event for me. I plan my day around, right, I'm going to download it or buy it in the morning, and then I'm going to put this like hour here free so I can listen to the record, and that's my event. And I have an event every Friday, and it's one of the highlights of my week, you know. So by not sharing all the information and people just assuming I was making a record, I felt like it was easier to feel like, well, this is what I've been doing, you know, which I thought was better.
Do you have any favorite event Fridays in recent memory?
Florence and the Machine, I was really looking forward to that record, and she didn't let me down at all. The sound of that record was absolutely stunning. So that's probably the biggest one I can think of how much of an event it was. I cleared up my whole day. I was like, okay, getting ready for it.
Yes. This record, the process of making this record, as I understand it, was not as easy as 21.
No, it's been the hardest process I've ever had.
Tell me about the initial writing sessions. Let's start there.
They were fun. I did them mainly with my friends, like not like people. They're people that work in music. Like they're not just random people that like. But and it was fun, but it was clear to all of us really quickly that, and they were brilliant and they're amazing and they're talented, but I just wasn't ready. I couldn't focus. I didn't have any ideas, and also that was sort of the initiation of me realising that I was now entering the studio all the time without any lyrics, and that my studio sessions would start from scratch. Whereas on 21, I had all the lyrics. So I would go in and we'd knock out a tune that people know now from 21, and it would be done in a couple of days because I'd have all the lyrics, you know, and I'd have a few chord ideas, or I'd have BV ideas or percussion ideas. And stuff
Why did you want to try it this way without lyrics?
I didn't want to try it. I wanted to go and live lyrics, but I didn't have time at home. Like I don't work at home at all. I don't even play guitar at home because I'm frightened I'm going to wake the baby up.
So there's work and there's home. You separate those two.
Oh, yeah. Oh, down the middle.
Why is that so important to you?
I don't take my work home, and I don't take my life to work either. It gets too emotional, which that sounds stupid because obviously I'm probably the most emotional person with my work that I could possibly be. But it's more, you know that saying like, oh, don't take your work home. Mm-hmm. Mine is more like I've got to really switch on to go to work. Like my personality is the same, so but being in a headspace of being mum to being me is like, it's quite a big shift.
And you have to be strict about drawing those boundaries.
Yeah, and I'm really in charge with everything that I do with my career, you know, and I have a very firm stance on that. Whereas at home, I'm a hot chocolate, like I'm just a little puddle, you know.
Okay, back to those writing sessions. How did you know when it wasn't working?
When the songs, even I listen to, I'd be like, these are shit. Like, these aren't emotional at all. Or what do I even mean by that? Like, I would normally always know exactly what I mean when I'm singing or with whatever I'm writing about or singing about. So, yeah, when I was just like, nah. And, you know, and I blagged it, like, with myself. I was like, this is fine, this will do. This is great. Just got to get the record out. And then I played it for a couple of people and they were like, if you want to do it, then do it, but wouldn't recommend it.
How was that, hearing that?
Oh, I knew it myself anyway. I'm pretty all right at taking critique. As long as the critique comes at the right time, in the right tone, I can take it all day long.
Do you remember where you were when that process started to turn around for you? When you started to stumble upon material and a sense of what you wanted to do?
Yeah, Remedy was a breakthrough, but that was a breakthrough in the bad period. So I wouldn't say that was the breakthrough of them when I was writing. Because I think it was Hello.
Hello.
I think it was Hello, the verse. It happened really quick, and it just felt great. It felt great to me. I was like, I want to finish this.
It felt like you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was like a very much, like there I am. You know?
I understand your son's birth was important for you in this journey as well, creatively. What did that spark inside you?
Pride. A lot of pride in myself. He gives me a lot of pride. I never really, I don't know how to describe it. I never really thought much of myself in terms of what I'd managed to create and what I'd managed to pull off and how far I'd managed to bring myself, like from like when I was born and stuff like that, and out of just sheer willpower and obviously luck. But like, I didn't really think that much of it. And when I had him, it just, for me, everything, my whole life made sense. I was like, oh, I get it. Like, this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to be his mum. Like, you know, so the world just made sense to me at that point and just gave me a, you know, I feel so great having given birth to a human being. I feel great.
And
I feel very powerful. And the fact, like, it's just great. I love it. I feel like I could do anything.
I can only imagine that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'll never
I'm sure
experience
the way that we're moving so fast, I'm sure you can get pregnant in like 20 years.
From Twitter to that, yeah, hopefully the technology goes there.
But yeah, just pride. I say pride mainly. Yeah.
Pride, confidence.
Yeah. And wanting to have a legacy, and not in terms of my career, but also like every single thing I say, how I interact with my friends, the bonds I have with my friends, partners and kids. That's all part of my legacy that I'll be leaving for my child, you know.
You worked with some big name songwriters, the Ryan Tedders, the Bruno Marses on this record. You also worked with some rising talents like Tobias Jessup Jr., who wrote glowingly about his experiences.
Oh, I know. I read that the day I was doing SNL and I was a mess. I was like, oh, God. I love Tobias.
Yeah.
I rate him so much. He will be writing songs with me for the rest of my career.
That's amazing.
I absolutely love him.
That is amazing.
He's wonderful.
What does that collaboration spark for you when you're writing moments like that with Tobias?
They're just moments, like, and Tobias' one was amazing because he was I'd done the whole record in England pretty much, and I did Remedy in New York really early on, like, I'd say before the record was at all taking shape. And we needed one more sort of last go at the album, and we couldn't really, like, by we, I mean like me and my management and stuff like that, I couldn't really pinpoint what it was I felt the album was lacking, but I knew it was lacking something. And so we were like, let's go to LA, let's just get like a new environment. And sometimes when I travel, I get a bit uncomfortable because I miss home, and sometimes that brings something out in me that I can't access at home. And Tobias was my first session when I got to LA, and I hadn't travelled for years. And I got there, and it was the first session we just chatted absolute rubbish for like 5 hours. And then we got into the room on the piano and stuff, and everything we spoke about ended up being in the song. And it was just a moment. And I remember like someone I was with was sitting in the lounge, and someone that works with him was sitting in the lounge. And every time we walked through to go to the garden, they were just like, yeah, feels good, feels great. Like, and I just knew straight away, I was like, I loved him, and I love his voice and his piano, and I liked him so much. When we got on, I was like, something's going to happen here. You could feel it.
Do you feel like that magic right away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other particular memories that stand out for you of fun in this recording process?
Yeah, Send My Love, Julian Love, I did with Max and Johann Shellback, with Max Martin and Johann Shellback. That was a really fun experience because I was expecting some like out of this world approach, and it wasn't. They're fantastic.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. Like a cauldron, like, you know.
Because they're the big hit
cooking
makers.
up a hit. Yeah, no, it wasn't like that at all. They were so nice, like, and they're so talented, and it was really amazing to just, like, I just started playing the guitar, and then they just oh God. They did literally just whip up, and it was just like, okay, all right, yeah, I get it now, yeah, good for you.
You manage in your songwriting to be, I'm thinking of songs like River Lee, for example, to be so poignant and personal and honest, and at the same time, how do you do that and keep, at the same time, something for yourself?
Yeah, that was not an issue. That was something that I was definitely up against with this album, because I did feel like with 21 that I didn't save any part of me for myself. But, you know, I think the key to it this time is that I haven't just gone, nah, this is what it's about. And I've skimmed the surface of what the song means to me and what I wrote them about. I've just literally just like skimmed the surface completely. And I think I would like everyone else to decide what these songs mean to them rather than me telling them what they mean to me completely or what it should mean to them.
There's a lot of nuance to that because
Yeah.
people still have to feel it, and you have to feel it, as you said. You know when it's something that's honest, right? At the same time, to make it universal.
Yeah. But also, I feel like when I wasn't giving very much of myself at all, that's when I was writing the songs that were rubbish. So I think it's just the sacrifice you have to make. And my worst fear is not being believed. That's my worst fear. So if that means I've got to give all of myself, then that's fine.
Do you ever feel...
I don't share my kids with the world, so that's me keeping something for myself.
Yeah. Do you ever feel jealous of those songwriters that can just whip off stuff that's at arm's length from themselves and it works?
Not jealous. I think I admire it. I think it's really admirable. And I think that's a talent in itself.
The thing that moved me most about the album is the nostalgia in the album. And I heard this question of, how does one move forward well?
Right.
Right? And that captured this feeling for me of, how do you deal with people and places are still in your heart, but they're not in your life?
Yeah.
What did you gain from exploring that?
Just the ability to move on, I think. I feel like in order to move forward, you have to deal with things. You can't just hide them. And I feel like my whole life I've just swept things under the carpet and stuff like that. Whereas by dealing with it all, which is because I was a parent and I only have so much capacity for junk now, I had to do those things. And it was great because it made me realise actually that all of the things I was holding on to, good and bad, they weren't that good and they weren't that bad. And it was just life, you know. So it made it a lot easier to let go.
What do you mean?
Well, like, you know, friendships when you've fallen out, relationships when it's like you're not in each other's lives anymore. Yeah. And like, you know, like summers, like summer 2006, I remember it as the most amazing summer because it was when I left college and I got a record deal and we were gigging. And it was amazing, but it wasn't the best summer of my life. You know, and I'm like putting these things on pedestals and being like, I hate that person. And they're not that bad and that wasn't that great, you know. So it's like, just find it. Like, you can always make your new ones, you know. So I just found it therapeutic and it gave me the complete ability to be cool and be chilled out about everything.
Was it hard to go there at first?
No, it was fun because I just had a kid and I couldn't remember who I was. I was lost in my own wilderness, you know, with like milk in my hair and stuff like that, tripping over my breasts and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, who am I? And then, you know, revisiting all those things made me find my identity.
So you're already feeling pretty vulnerable.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't after giving birth, shut up.
That's amazing. Were you able to put your finger on what it is that you do and what you offer to the world in the process of making this album?
No, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea. I'm guessing the honesty. I'm guessing how candid I am in terms of the way I talk about things. But I don't know. I think sadness does connect people, but I hope I don't only bring sadness. I'd like to bring joy to people as well, but sometimes you find joy in sadness. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm not a devastated person. I get my devastation out by writing my songs, and if that brings any comfort to anyone, then that's great. But I have no idea what all the fuss is about. I really don't.
But people love you.
Well,
they really love you. Is it hard to receive that?
I'm getting a bit better at. I don't know if the word is humble, because I think I am humble, because I'm a bit like all the time. But I don't know what would the word be. It makes me uncomfortable, and I don't. But like not as in like, oh God, no. It's more of like, what? Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting better at it though. I'm getting better at taking compliments and being like, thank you very much, and I mean it. But you know, without being like, oh, but I did like this. Oh God, no, look at me this morning. Do you know what I mean?
Can you imagine that would be so hard to receive all of that? It's a lot of love, right?
I mean, I'd rather love than hate.
Exactly. You described making this album as the hardest thing you've ever done. Yeah. Even harder than having a kid and raising a kid? Yeah. How so?
I find raising a kid and having a kid really difficult, but that's easy compared to getting the balance right between feeling like you're spending enough time with your child but spending enough time on your work. It's really hard, and I have so much respect for anyone that's ever done it and is ever doing it, because I am privileged with how I'm managing to find my balance, you know, and other people aren't. But just to be, I feel like the process of writing my record was such a selfish act to do, being a parent, and because I was going to do something that he would rather me be at home, but also I didn't have to go to work to provide for my family, so I felt terrible. No more terrible than any other mum does, or any other parent, or any worse, any less, rather. But I felt, and I still feel terrible. I feel terrible all the time. I think we all do. And I think, so getting that balance is the hardest thing for me. And I wouldn't have to get that balance would I not be making this record and stuff like that. And the guilt of having a bad studio session and spending like 8 hours away, still regret it.
Probably so hard to get your head around why you're doing it.
Yeah. But also it was for myself, which I think you feel bad about it, but I was doing it because I think it's really important that I do it for myself, and I also feel like if I was my mum and then when I was a teenager I was like, you did all that and then you had me and you didn't do anything, I'd be a bit annoyed.
It's kind of important for a child also to watch their parent do what they do and be great and,
Yeah, and I think it's great that he's going to see his mum being bossy.
Let's talk about being bossy, being in control.
Being in control. Not as in like you do this, no. It's not bossy, but I'm a boss.
Yeah, but you're very in control.
In England we say bossy in a good way, like, you're bossy.
We say that too in Canada.
Oh, you do? Okay,
good. It's
okay,
positive. But you are very much in control of your career. It's not an easy thing to do. How did you learn how to do that? Tell me about the process of learning how to be in control.
Well, I've always been a control freak from a very young age, but I would credit my management for that. Like when I'm like really, really tired and I'm like, can you just decide? Like, I can't be bothered right now. No, staying up till 5 a.m. until you understand everything, and then you can give me a yes or a no with a good reason and stuff like that. So definitely my management.
That's good management.
Yeah. Oh no, my management are great. Like, and also like they want me to make the decisions on everything, small things, big things, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that. And it's my music, and I'm the artist. So why someone in a boardroom who's never written a record in their life should be making decisions for me? No. We are the artists, and we should be allowed to decide in every aspect. And I think I understand that it's only when you get to a certain level that you really get to be in control. But I think it's a shame that you have to be of a certain level because people that are unknown as well, that are making records, again, it's their music. And the decisions of how they're portrayed and how they're to come across and how they look is no one else's business.
But I feel like even artists at that level, if they don't start controlling it at that level, they'll probably never control it.
I just think like when you're new and you've got all these people who you think know better than you, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure they do know better in lots of ways, but no one knows what's best for one person apart from that person and how it makes them feel. If they don't like it, they don't believe in it, it ain't going to happen if they're doing something that everyone else thinks they should do. I think it's about integrity and stuff like that, which all of us have, not all of us use.
Speaking of integrity, I'm so impressed by the fact that you've really done it. Not just professional success, it's history making right now, but you've remained you. How have you kept both feet on the ground? By all accounts, I mean, I've only known you for 15 minutes now, but by all accounts, you're a very grounded person. How do you keep both feet on the ground?
I'm British, so I think that helps. But also, I haven't changed my circle of friends, and my circle has definitely got smaller. But in terms of the core people in it, they take the piss out. I'm a laughing stock to them, and I run everything past them, And I mean, I'm not tempted in the slightest by anything that like being famous has to offer. Like, it's really lovely and it's a great luxury to dip in and out of it and to experience it, and I'm forever grateful of that, but it ain't real. So I don't feel like you can get attached to something that's not real, so I'd rather live a real life and be a real person. Speaking of which, tell me about your best friend that was in the Laura. Crowd. Yeah. Oh, she's the realest of all of us. Oh my God, like literally the realest human on the planet. Like, she's hilarious. We've been best friends since I was like 14. And we drifted apart for a little while, and then we got back together like as 21 came out. And she's just wonderful. She's a children's writer, but actually she's branching out now. She wrote a great sort of adult book called Lorelei, which is a fabulous mermaid book. But she's like one of the loves of my lives. Yeah. Is that why you love her? Because she's the realest person you know? Yeah, and she's just loved me since before everyone else, And there's like our love is so deep for each other, And she's married and I'm in a proper relationship with a kid, and it's all our lives are so serious. But when we're with each other, we're 14 again, you know.
And you can't replace that time.
No.
In a relationship.
No.
That loyalty.
Yeah. And she was loyal to me even when we drifted apart. You know.
How so?
She just was.
Oh.
She experienced watching me from afar with her family like she was with me. She wasn't resentful, and she teaches me a lot about that, about not holding on and not being hateful.
25 is already a huge success. The sales numbers are just staggering. There's all sorts of statistics flying around the internet. But how do you define success for this album?
As long as my fans are happy, and as long as I'm happy. I mean, I'm not happy. I mean, I'm obviously am happy about, but stats and figures don't make me happy. It's people's reactions and stuff like that. And I feel like it's gone really well. I think it's ridiculous what's going on here. I'm not even American. I'm not even. It's like some girl from Tottenham's breaking a week one record. I mean, if you'd seen Tottenham, you would know that this is ridiculous. But it's amazing, you know. But I don't know. I just want to do some shows.
Speaking of shows, what's coming up next for you?
I'm going to go home, chill out for a few days, and then I've got to go to Europe.
And you're excited for that?
I am. I'm nervous about the challenge of it because, well, the challenge of it. I don't love touring, but I love the shows. But I feel like I'm only going on tour for the fans. There's no other reason, because I don't need to go on tour. So to see the fans, and know in my heart that I'm doing it for them, and I hope that they know that as well, you know. So, and seeing them, because I didn't see that many people on 21 because of my voice issues, you know.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm mainly going to be doing that. I don't want to be.
That probably helps though, going out on the road, knowing you're doing this for people. This isn't.
Yeah. And it's an intimate thing, you know. I feel like with what is going on this week, with all those mad, outrageous stats, I feel like this is an experience that we're all having, that I'm having with my fans, and that we're all a part of something, you know. And everyone I've met loads of fans the past week while I've been here, and they're like, we are, and it's not I or you, it's like we are, and I'm like, we are. This is amazing, and it's just amazing to have this monumental experience this day and age with my fans, you know, considering that I'm not all over Twitter, and I'm not like, hey, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there, come meet me here. I'm not like that, and we're having this amazing experience together. And I think it just shows that music is alive and well, and the fans are there. People are here. Music's a huge part of their life.
That's beautiful. I think that's as good a note as any to end on.
Great, you were wonderful.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
You were really wonderful. Thank you so much.